and the specular level has an underscore inside the name. Specular underscore level. The rest is the same. In order to perform the iterative ray tracing through the scene, we're going to add some new variables. The one is going to be the iterations count, which we'll use in order to control the depth of the ray tracing, how many rays we're going to shoot before we stop following them. The other variable is going to be the old surface color variable, which used to be local to the inner loop, the X loop, and it was set for every single pixel. We're going to take it out of the loops and make it local at the topmost level of the script, which means it's going to be visible to all the functions inside the script. We can initialize it to black at this point, and we're going to use it to collect the colors as we ray trace the scene. It's going to be changed as a side effect of the fire ray function, and the final value, after all the fire ray functions have been evaluated for a single eye ray shot through the scene, the variable is going to contain the final surface color. Let's modify the fire ray function to perform the ray tracing. The first thing that we have to add is a new optional parameter called reflection. It's going to be white by default. This means that when the fire ray function is being called without this optional parameter, for example, the first ray that we shot through the eye and the pixel of the image, the value of the reflection parameter is going to be assumed as white. Later, when we start shooting secondary rays after the first hit of a surface, we're going to pass the actual ray traced material value for the reflection color as this parameter and modify the color of the reflections based on that. Inside the fire ray function, we're going to implement some new variables in order to store the latest intersection and material. Let's call them last intersection is equal to undefined, and last mat for the last material also initialized to undefined. Inside the shading code, after we have calculated the last surface color, which is the variable containing the current surface points color after the specular and diffuse and ambient calculations, we are going to store the current intersection in the last intersection variable, which means that after performing intersections with all the objects based on the z depth, the last value stored in the last intersection is going to be that intersection that was actually returned previously to the set pixels function in order to set the pixel color in the final image. If an intersection returned undefined, or an intersection wasn't performed because of z-depth test, that means some object that was behind an already shaded point, the variable is not going to be set. That means the last intersection variable is still going to contain the value of the last valid intersection, the frontmost position that was shaded during the previous calculation. Having this, we'll have to also check the class of the material. We have the variable the obj, which is the current object. If the class of the material is equal to Raytrace material, then we are going to return the material itself. Otherwise, we're going to return undefined, and we'll set the value of the last mat variable